What's going on, YouTube? This is your boy, Intergalactic Brew, here to give you my UFC 136 predictions. It's going down Saturday, 9 o'clock p.m., exclusively on pay-per-view, followed by the Spike prelim fights, exclusively on Spike, coming at you at 8 p.m. I think overall this is going to be a very great, not good. I think this is going to be a great event. All the fights from top to bottom, have either fight of the night or some type of finish written all over them. So hopefully every fight can live up, to its standard, and we could get some nice conclusions in these fights. So without any further ado, let's get down to it. First fight of the night I want to discuss is Joe Lauzon versus Melvin Guillard. Melvin Guillard is coming off of a hot streak, not a win streak, a hot streak, beating, I wouldn't say three of the most elite fighters in the division, but at least two of those three are elite, meaning Eben Dunham and who was the other guy? Jeremy Stephens, yeah. So, what we're looking at here with Melvin Guillard is if he's able to beat Joe Lauzon, then, there's no dispute that he deserves, a shot at the lightweight title. And I believe he will solidify that claim if he's able to win this fight. Joe Lauzon, on the other hand, he's trying to, he's still trying to build up his name in the division, and hopefully with a win here, it'll get him one step closer to, in the mix, as Dana White likes to say, and eventually a shot at the UFC lightweight title himself. So with that being said, as far as the fight goes, Joe Lauzon basically needs to ground Melvin Guillard. I would suggest him not even try and, feel out Melvin Guillard standing up. I think he needs to close the distance right away, put him up against the cage, get him in that clinch, dirty box him, knee him, and look for the takedown and get on top and do damage while looking for a submission at the same time. If Joe Lauzon can do that, he could definitely win the fight, because I believe, as far as just overall grappling is concerned, I think Joe Lauzon has a lopsided advantage. But at the same time, Melvin Guillard, does have a wrestling background too. But if Melvin Guillard gets put on his back, that's going to be trouble for him, because, I think he's been exposed a few times. When he has other guys on top of him, a.k.a. Nate Diaz, I should say, a.k.a. Joe Stevenson. So, So basically, Melvin Guillard just needs to, be light on his feet and stuff the takedowns and, just get out of precarious positions that Joe Lauzon is going to try to put him in. I think the way Melvin can even keep himself out of that area of getting pressed up against the cage and getting taken down, I should say, is just control the center of the octagon. Just stay in the center, move around. He's got good head and foot movement. Circle, look for the cross, and use the jab to set up the kicks, and eventually just keep the distance and just look to land, the big right hand. I mean, that's basically all Melvin Guillard needs to do. Because Joe Lauzon, trust me, he's not going to try and trade with Melvin Guillard. Trust me. He's going to try and stay in the pocket and pick his shots. So Guillard won't have to worry about Joe Lauzon trying to, bum rush him or anything like that, because Joe Lozon's striking is decent, but it's not up to Melvin Gillard's level. So basically, what I see happening in the fight is I just basically see Joe Lozon attempting to close the distance and put Melvin Gillard up against the fence, but I see Melvin Gillard being too quick for Lozon and getting out of the way, coming back to the octagon, start firing the jab, chopping Lozon up with leg kicks, and just basically bobbing and weaving. He'll probably have his hands down a few times while he's doing that, and just basically using that jab, and maybe let off a couple of combinations here and there, backing Lozon up a little bit, and then Lozon will come forward again, and he'll try to counter, and he'll basically try to close the distance and put Melvin Gillard up against the fence a couple of times. But I can see Melvin Gillard stuffing those takedowns, and just making Lozon frustrated and making him have to work a lot for those takedowns. But in the end, when they break and they come back to the center of the octagon, I think that Melvin Gillard's going to end it there. I think he's going to let off another combination, and I think it's going to rock Lozon, and I think eventually he'll start closing the distance himself and catch him either with a right hand or an uppercut, and Joey Lozon will fall down. Melvin Gillard gets on top of him, ground and pound, TKO victory. Melvin Gillard, believe it. Okay, next fight we have is Nan Fan versus Leonard Garcia. As you all know, this is a rematch from a UFC Fight Night event that took place earlier this year. And it's no need to explain the motive here. Nan Fan wants revenge on Garcia because he felt like that Garcia took that fight away from him, which I did as well as many other people that watched it. It was no doubt that Nan Fan was winning that fight. He was out striking Garcia for most of it, and somehow he got the decision. I do not know why. But I think in this fight, I think Nan Fan is not going to hesitate as much. I think he's going to try to be more aggressive and come forward a lot and just try to dazzle Garcia with strikes. And, he's basically just going to try to knock him out pretty much. But give Leonard Garcia credit. He does have a hard chin. He's very hard to knock out. If Nan Fan can land that one kick or that one punch right on the button, anybody can go down. Even Leonard Garcia, as tough as he is. What Garcia would, if Garcia was smart, what he would do is he would try to, try to mix it up with the strikes and the grappling. For the most part, I would say take the fight down to the mat at all costs. If Leonard Garcia was smart, and just try to out-wrestle Nan Fan. Nan Fan does have good jiu-jitsu. He is a black belt, but we all know that in MMA, wrestling is a lot more dominant and useful than jiu-jitsu is. No disrespect to jiu-jitsu, but wrestling, you could dictate where the fight goes with wrestling. So if Garcia is smart, he would try to get this fight to the ground, but I know that he's gonna want to get his licks in standing up, so he'll probably just look to keep the fight standing and just brawl with Nan Fan, and I think that'll be a mistake. And I think Nan Fan's gonna end up catching him with a kick or either a punch. Maybe so. He'll probably catch him with a kick, because Leonard Garcia can take a boatload of punches. So I think Nan Fan probably will land a kick somewhere when Leonard Garcia is trying to, I guess, counter, and I think he'll wobble him, and I think he'll hit him again and he'll go down, and I think he'll end it from there. So I think I'm gonna pick Nam Fan by submission. I'll pick him by submission. I think they'll probably end it maybe with an arm triangle. But if he does knock Leonard Garcia out, I won't be surprised here because, like I said, anybody can be hit if they hit right on the button. Okay, now getting down to what I like to call our triple main event, because this next fight I'm about to break down is indeed a main event all in itself. Not because of the two fighters that are in it, but because of what styles these two fighters bring and the toughness and everything else that goes along with it. So we got Chael Sonnen. Well, I'm not going to say everybody, but at least one of my favorite fighters and my favorite UFC middleweight, taking on the All-American Red Hot Brian Stann. I'm glad, man. I'm just glad. Chael Sonnen's, this is his big return. I've been waiting 4, 5, 8 months for this. Now it's finally here. You know, it's going to be interesting to see, you know, just how he looks and fights since the suspension and everything else that went wrong with him. Now, I know that Chael Sonnen is going to be somewhat rusty. So, all you Chael Sonnen doubters out there, when you comment on my video, I know you're going to talk about ring rust and all this other stuff, and he's been out for so long. I get it, okay? I get it. I know that he's going to be rusty, okay? I'm not delusional. But at the same time, I believe that Chael is so mentally tough. As I think he'll forget about the ring rust, and I think he'll just press on and you know, just win the fight the best way he can. The only thing that really concerns me in this fight, because at the same time, while I do think, you know, Chael will win this fight, at the same time, I think he might lose as well, because Brian Stann is, you know, that guy is just a powerhouse. You know, he's got, you know, sledgehammer-like power in his hands. He can knock you out basically with one shot, you know, if he loads up on you. And he's just looked very impressive his last 3 fights, you know. I mean, say what you want about Mike Macenzio, but that was a good win for him. You know, he got the triangle choke, you know, first submission victory. Then he went on to beat Chris Lieben on Memorial Day. And then from there, George Santiago. So, I mean, it was awesome. It was just, you know, like, wow. Like, Brian Stann is for real. You know, and that's why I'm giving him a chance to win this fight against Chael Sonnen. And I don't know why everybody's counting him out, because, you know, they're just thinking like, okay, well, Chael Sonnen's just, he can't handle the wrestling of Chael Sonnen. And yeah, that's true, but at the same time, what's going to happen if Chael Sonnen gets his takedown stuff? I'm just saying. Just being real. I mean, what is going to happen? Seriously. That is my main concern. If Chael Sonnen gets his takedown stuff throughout this fight, this is going to be very, very interesting. So, you know. But I know Chael. I know he'll be relentless. I know he'll keep coming forward until he does get the takedowns. And I do think that Chael will get rocked in this fight a couple of times, because, like I said, Stan has just got that power. And if he lands flush on Chael, I believe Chael, as tough as he is, will go down. So, you know, I'm not, you know, denying that result of the fight. But ultimately, what I can see happening, I can just see Chael taking a beating to give a beating. And I think that's what's going to end up happening. I think he's just going to end up taking Brian Stann down repeatedly and beating him up while he's beat up. And I can see Chael winning the decision.